Amesy here of Amesy's Antics. Welcome to my channel. I hope you are well today because we have another crafty project to get stuck into, and in this week's video we're bringing in a bit of love and a bit of Valentine's vibe with how to make heart-shaped coasters using macrame in a really easy beginner macrame project. Now all you're going to need to learn is 3 simple macrame knots, which I will show you in the video, including the lark's head knot, the square knot, and finally the half hitch knot. So if you would like to see how to make heart-shaped macrame coasters, then let's get crafting. To create the macrame coasters, you are going to need 3mm thick macrame cord, a thick wooden dowel, some scissors, and if you want to create the fringing, a comb or pet comb. Firstly, cut down your macrame cord to 17 pieces at 120 centimeters long. You want to have 16 for the project and then 1 for the edging of the heart. Set one of the macrame strands to one side for later and then begin attaching the 16 strands to that wooden dowel piece. Now to do this we need to use a lark's head knot, so make sure that the macrame cord is folded in half and raw ends are meeting and it has a loop at the top. Place the loop over the top of the wooden dowel, bringing this down around the back, and then pull the strands through that loop to secure it all together onto the wooden dowel. Hopefully that makes sense. So attach all of the 16 pieces to the dowel before we start the actual project. And here is what all of the 16 strands connected will look like. Now you want to make sure they are nice and tight so that the macrame strands are secured properly to that dowel. Then split these in half to one side and the other side, leaving 2 of the lark's head knots in the middle, giving you 4 strands, because the next knot we are going to do is called the square knot and you need 4 strands for this. So to create the square knot you want to take the left hand piece and cross it over the 2 middle pieces in a figure of 4 type shape, bringing down that right hand strand over the top of this. Then bring the right hand strand underneath all 3 of those strands, bringing it up through that loop created in that figure of 4 to the left hand side, and you should start to see the knot form. You then want to pull this up with the middle strands as well to even it out to where you want it. Now you want this knot to be a little bit away from the dowel so you've got a bit of a gap. And then it is time to reverse the knot, and this will complete the square knot. So do a reverse number 4 with the right hand strand over the 2 middle ones, then bring the left hand strand over the top of this, and then bring this underneath all 3 of the strands up through that figure of 4 loop on the right hand side. Again tightening this by pulling the 2 ends and the middle until the 2 knots meet each other, and then you have the first square knot. Pull it tightly, making sure that it is fully secure. Then it's time to repeat the same process, except keep your 2 middle strands and bring in the next lark's head knot, so you'll have 2 new strands and on either side of this middle. Then you want to split the middle one into 2, so you have 2 strands going to the new outer side ones. That makes sense, and do some more square knots, so creating that figure of 4 and creating 2 knots on this second row. Then the process for the 3rd row is then repeated, so you want to do 3 square knots on this row underneath the 2 you have just done. So split this again in half, making sure that you do this at 2s so that you always have even number of strands of 4 each time. I like to start in the middle and then work outwards, but you can start on either side, whichever you prefer. You may have guessed it, for the fourth row you need to do 4 square knots along. So you want to split again the macrame strands into 4s so they're all even, bringing in 2 new ones on either side on the outside. So then, yeah, just do your figure of 4 square knots, 4 along this row. Repeat the same process for the next row. So this is the 5th row, I believe. So you want to do 5 square knots, again starting in the middle if you like, and working your way out, introducing 2 new strands on either side of the outer knot. Yeah, that makes sense. And I'm sorry, I did get this out slightly out of shot, but here we go, it's back in shot. And as you can see, each row that you do, it lines up with the row above it in like a diagonal shape, and it gives it a really nice look to the heart shape. Then you want to keep going with the next row, so this will be 6 square knots on the 6th row, again splitting these so that you introduce the 2 new strands on the outer parts of this heart. And you can see the heart shape is slightly starting to take shape now. I guess it's looking a bit more of a diamond, but you want to just keep going until you complete this row. Now we should be on to the 7th row here, so you want to do 7 of the square knots across here. Now you may find that some of the square knots don't line up quite as you want them to, so just keep fiddling around. If you pull the middle bits, this helps move the middle strands, sorry, this helps move the knot into place, and then tighten in with the 2 outer strands. And now we are on to the final row across, so you want to do 8 square knots starting from the middle, working your way out until you get to the last 2 outer strands. Once you have completed the 8th row, you then want to split all the strands equally from side to side. So I think there should be 16 strands per side, and this should leave you 4 strands in the middle to do 1 square knot. Now this is where we will then be separating the heart shape into the 2 parts so that you can have the 2 sort of rounded parts at the top of the heart. So do a square knot on this middle piece, and this will be your final middle piece. Then work your way across each one, creating square knots until you reach the end of each row. And as you can see, because of how it has been split, the 2 end strands are being left out of this row for now, but they will be incorporated into the next row. Repeat the square knots again from the center, however leave the center so you don't do a square knot in the middle part of the macrame, and work your way outwards, and this time it should incorporate the end strands. I think I completed about 3 rows in total after doing the middle one to create the 2 halves of the heart. And as you can see, the heart shape should now be formed within the macrame piece. So all you want to do is take it off of this dowel and then cut the ends of the loops so that we have lots of loose strands of macrame. Then remember that piece of cord we set aside at the start. You want to take that and it be used as a holding cord to where the point of the heart is and pin it in place just to keep it in place for now. Then we're going to use half hitch knot into place, and to do this all you do is place that holding cord, the long piece diagonally, and one of those shorter pieces you wrap around underneath so that it creates a loop, and then bring it back through that loop so that it creates a knot, if you get what I mean. And do this twice and that will be your half hitch knot. Half hitch knot, oh my god I cannot say it, half hitch knot. And then carry on repeating the same process with each individual strand. So you bring it around, knot, down, then around, knot, down again, and that is your half hitch knot. Repeat this around the whole edge of the heart until you come back to the start. Now there may be parts where there isn't any strands, and all you need to do with that holding cord is just thread it through some of the square knot loops until you get to the next strand. Then to finish off the coaster, we're going to create some fringing. So what you want to do is cut down all of the loose strands to the smallest or shortest strand that is around the heart. Now if you don't want any fringing, then all you need to do is cut these strands as close to them half hitch knots that you've just created, and it should hide some of this work. But if not, you want to cut them down and then begin unraveling these so that the ends begin to fray and they look a bit wavy. And then use a pet comb like I have here, or a regular comb, just to comb out those little edges to give them a fluffier, frayed look. You may also need just to trim some of these frayed edges to make them more uniformed, but then the heart-shaped coaster out of macrame is ready to use.
Trying to figure you out, I just wanna make you smile. Hold your hand in my hand, looking at the sunset. Man, you're looking good tonight. I wanna kiss you before the sun goes down.
So there you have how to make heart-shaped macrame coasters. Really easy macrame project to have a go at and practice a few of those basic macrame knots. Now I really like how these turned out, and even though they're heart-shaped, they're not just for Valentine's Day. You can have them all year round because it's just a nice simple heart shape. Now these are really customizable as well. You could change up the colour of the macrame cord to suit your decor if you don't want it plain, or you could maybe dip dye them with some fabric dye. I will link a video above and link it in the description of how I dip dyed some macrame feathers, another really easy macrame project. And you could even change up the size of these. So if you want to make these larger, so maybe they are a bit of a placemat type thing, just need to add on more of those strands of macrame, making sure the middle ones are longer because they're the ones that get shorter the quickest. And if you want to make them a bit smaller, then all you need to do is take away a few of those macrame strands and you can make a smaller version of them as well. So let me know what you think in them comments below and whether you'll be giving this project a go. Oh, that was my computer. And then don't forget to hit that like button if you have enjoyed it, and why not click the subscribe button if you are not already subscribed to keep up with more of my crafting antics. There's a few more different crafty makes coming up onto the channel in the next few weeks, including a few cloth sewing projects / sew alongs. So hit the subscribe button if it sounds like something you would enjoy, and don't forget to hit the notification bell as well because that will tell you each time my videos go live. And check out my blog Ames's Antics, which is linked below because there's always a ton more information over on the blog for you to check out. And with that said, I will see you in next week's video, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Smile more when you come by. Smile.